No problem. So let's go to the information and analyze. They say the following information, and then they gave you the date. Can you see they gave you the date here? This will help you a lot. Because if you see the 31st of August 2023, already you know which year is this one. This is the previous year.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yeah,
so it means at the end of 2023, we had the following balance for the plant and equipment at a cost of 85,000 and accumulated depreciation at the, for plant as 46,600. This means that the machinery that they bought, we don't even know when did they buy it. So they bought it some time ago for 85,000. But since they bought it, this asset has lost value. That's why they say accumulated. All in all, since they purchased this asset, they lost a value of how much? Of 46,600. Are you with me?
Yes.
So if I want to know the value of this asset at the end of this, I'll just say 85,000 minus 46. So that will give me the real value of the asset. We call it book value, or you can call it a carrying value. Are you with me?
Yes.
That is just a balance.
Okay.
So if they ask you to open plant and machinery account, so the balance will be 85,000 at the beginning. So let's check. I think for this, they didn't ask you to open the plant and machinery here, or machinery. So in other words, you can check that there's a solution there. There's no machinery. So if they ask you for that, you will see the balance brought down on the debit side is going to be 85,000. Are you with me?
So can you repeat that?
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm saying, let's say, for example, they asked you to open an account called plant and machinery.
Yes.
So it means, obviously, when you open, you will need to show this balance that you started with.
Yes.
You're going to say balance brought down. So the balance brought down will be how much? 85,000.
Yes, sir.
I'm just saying if they asked you.
Oh,
for
okay.
this exercise, they didn't ask you. I'm talking about the possibilities because they can ask you. Let's say they asked you to open plant and machinery account, or even machinery account. They can just say machinery. So if they ask you like this, so you're gonna put this amount as what? The date will be 23, and then you're gonna have the beginning of your month, which is September, and you were supposed to say balance brought down. I'm talking about what if, but they didn't ask us. So this was supposed to be how you're gonna show this balance.
Yes, sir. Okay, I see.
Does that make sense? Yes.
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 The same applies to accumulated up there. If they asked you, you will have something like this. Sorry, I'm gonna write on top here. Never mind the skewed lines, and I'm gonna have accumulated depreciation, and then it's going to be plant and machinery like that. I'm just going to abbreviate like that. But this one, because we call it a negative asset, is the opposite of an asset. The balance was supposed to be here. The same thing here that I did here. You see? But the balance of the accumulated, you can write it down. Accumulated depreciation is a negative asset. You can write it down for future reference. So you're supposed to have something like this, 46,600. I'm just saying, if they asked you for these accounts, because in the exam you'll never know what they can ask you. They can ask you anything. So I want you to know how to show those balances.
So accumulated depreciation is a negative asset.
It's a negative asset. Write it down. Obviously, negative asset is the opposite of an asset. That's why it increases on the opposite side.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I wrote it down.
Are you okay so far, guys? Sorry, guys, I know I talk too much, but I'm trying to give you some basics so that you cannot memorize. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, it helps a lot when you explain.
Yes. Now, okay, this is how. So it doesn't matter. Next time they can give you vehicles, they can give you accumulated on vehicle, they can give you any other asset. It doesn't matter. You're gonna show it like this, okay? If they ask you to open it, no problem. Now,
yes, sir.
Additional information. So they say, according to the asset register, the plant and machinery consist of 2 Zobo machines. In other words, this balance here consists, they're talking about this balance here. It consists of what? Of 2 machines. So obviously, if I want to analyze, if it consists of two machines, they say of equal value. So it means how much is the cost of each machine, if I may ask you?
We'll divide it by 2, sir.
Divided
42,500.
by 2.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 42,500
500.
ne?
Yes, sir.
Each.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I'm just analyzing the way they are. So it means, again, even remember this 85,000 lost value of 46,600. So again, if I want to know the accumulated for each asset, I'm going to divide by 2. How much?
23,300.
23,300. Can you see now? So I'm just following whatever they're telling me. So the most important thing is for me to understand this. See, it consists. I was trying to analyze this. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. They say both machines were bought or purchased and installed on the same day. Obviously, because they said they bought them on the same day. Because if they were on separate days, they should have told you when did you buy this particular asset. So they say, don't worry, they were bought on the same day.
Okay.
No problem. Are you okay with A?
Yes, that makes sense.
Now, yes. They say depreciation is written off at 20% per annum using diminishing balance method. Remember, when we depreciate, there are methods of depreciation. We have got the diminishing balance method, and the other one is called straight line method. Are you with
Yes.
me? Yes. So straight line method sometimes is called cost price method. Are you with me? Don't be confused when in the exam they say use cost price method.
Okay.
They mean
Let me write it down
straight.
quickly.
Yeah. Let me write it somewhere. Meaning straight line method
Yes.
is the same as cost price method, because examiners use different, so they can either ask you for this method, but depending on the method, the calculation will be different. Yes, so this one is the same thing, and then the other one is the diminishing. Okay, so the diminishing balance method, they sometimes call it reducing balance method. Don't be confused if you see it. They call it reducing balance method. So if they say use reducing balance method, they mean use diminishing balance method. Are you with me?
Okay. Yes.
Yes. So you must be careful and know. But I'm going to explain the difference between the two when we check the calculations, okay?
Okay.
No problem. So they're just now you know get our asset, because obviously, like cars, you know that if you've got a car, your car loses value every time. So you need to know how to hit it, okay?
Yes.
Now, they say on the 31st of January 24. Can you see now? So because I've got the accounting period, if they do that, I will immediately try to find where I can. Can you see they said 31st of January?
Yes.
So immediately I'm going to go and find it. Where can I put it? Can I put it here? Can I put it at the end, or can I put it somewhere in between?
It'll be somewhere in between because it's 2024.
Yes, I'm gonna put it somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, somewhere around there.
I don't have to measure it as long as I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fine.
They say the management decided to increase, yes, the product capacity and bought a new machine on credit. So a new machine was bought here. So I'm just analyzing to make my life easy. I'm gonna say new machine here was bought here. Can you see now? I bought a new machine on the 31st of Jan 24. Can you see now? So I know that I bought a new machine here.
Yes. Okay.
It's gonna help me a lot. And then they say one of the Zobo machines was traded in. Remember, I spoke about the trade in. What did I say about the trade in?
Like instead of selling it, so you use it as like a deposit.
Yeah, it's like you trade in. It's like you give them the machine, and then so that you can pay at a lesser price. Can you see now? So they said
Okay,
we
so
used old machine. So just treat it like you are selling it, like I say.
okay. Yeah, because you're not going to
Okay?
pay the full price if you're trading one machine.
And then that's true. Yes. But this just means that you sold. It's the same way as you sold. Can you see now? So, but
Yes.
when we were buying this at 90,000, can you see now? So we had to trade in. But these are the two separate transactions. We must first show that we bought for 90, and then this machine was traded in to reduce the amount owing to what? To 70,500. So it means the machine that we sold, we need to know how much is the value of that machine that we traded in, because they didn't give us the price. But we can easily find the price. Why? Because after trading in, the amount was reduced to 70,500. So meaning the difference between 90,000 and 70,500 was the value of that machine that we traded in. I don't know if
Okay.
it makes sense or not.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that difference, like, so you were minus 70,500 from the 90,000, and that answer will give you the price of the machine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be the value of the machine that we traded in.
Yes.
The value of the machine that we traded in. Because usually they were supposed to give us the value of the machine. It's like the selling price of the machine.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
So this is very much important.
Yes. It's 19,500.
But it's 19,005. So meaning the machine that we traded in, the value of that machine was 19,500.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, let's continue. But I want us to start, because now we saw an amount of 90,000. So you must go and show that a new machine for 90,000 was bought. And how did we buy it? It was bought on
Credit.
credit. Are you with me?
Yes. Yes.
So based on our past experience, let's say we're dealing with the account equation. Remember account equation.
Yes.
Yes,
What
sir.
would be the two accounts for this 90,000?
Liabilities.
Be specific with those accounts. I agree with you. Liability. What is that
Okay.
liability?
It's not creditors control.
I like that. Can you see
Oh,
now?
okay.
You were supposed
Yes.
to have creditors control,
Creditors
and
control.
what would be the other one?
Asset.
Asset.
What is that
Oh,
asset?
non-current.
What is that non-current asset? Be specific. In this
Like
case, what is
Oh,
that asset? What
the
did you
machine.
sell? What is that asset? The machine.
yes,
So
the machine.
meaning it
Okay.
will be this account. Can you see this account? I know they did not ask us to open it, but if they asked you to open it, you were supposed to come and record in this plant and machinery to show that you bought a new asset.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you see now? So
Yes.
tell me, under which side must I go and put that 90 here? Debit or credit?
On the plant and machinery.
Yes, because
It'll
I
go
bought
on
machinery.
debit, sir.
It will go on the debit side. So this is what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to say 20.4 and then January the 31st. Because we bought on credit, you told me that it's creditors, I'll say creditors control. Can you see that? And
Yes,
usually,
sir.
we under the creditors control, we use GJ for this one, depending on the journal. So sometimes it's GJ, sometimes it's PJ, because some books. So I have to go and check. According to Eunice, I think when they do the creditors journal, I think they do have. Do they have a column for? I'm gonna check. Ne? I don't remember if they've got a column for sundry accounts. If you remember very well when we did our creators journal before, do you
Yes.
remember having a column for
I think we did,
sundry?
sir.
Yes. If it's like that, it means this is gonna go to the CJ. Remember CJ? CJ stands
Yes.
for
Creditors.
creditors. Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Because different institutions use different ways. Okay, but yeah, so this is how your plant and equipment was supposed to look like so far. But so far, unfortunately, because this, I think this normally when they give you this kind of information, they normally take this from the previous assessment that they had. Let's say previous assignment or previous test or exam. So can you see for this one, they only wanted 2 accounts, only these 2. Can you see now?
Yes, sir.
Remember, they said machine realization. It's not machine realization is not the same as plant and machinery. No, it's something different. I'm still coming to it. But if they wanted you to open machinery or plant and machinery, they should have told you, and this was what you were supposed to show in that particular account. Are you okay with this one?
Yes, sir.
What if we bought for cash? What would change here? What if this 90,000 was for cash? Something was supposed to change there.
If we bought the machine for cash.
Yeah.
Well, so there wouldn't be a creditors control. It would be the plant and equipment account, and then it would be bank.
Bank here, and here you're gonna be CPJ. Remember?
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
I like
Make
it.
payment for.
Yes, no, I like that. I like that. No problem. But are you okay so far with the 90,000?
Yes. Makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So again, if they ask you, remember here with the creditor, sometimes they allow you to put the name of the creditor. You can even put the name of the creditor. Who's the creditor? We bought from what? We bought from Max, ne? Yeah, you can write,
Yes,
instead of saying creditors control, you can say Max. They won't penalize you. But for me, I prefer writing creditors in brackets, say Max. Are you okay?
Yes, sir.
No problem. Now, remember, if you know that this is the general ledger, this is called general ledger, but you know that they can also ask you to put this transaction in the general journal, of which I think they did ask here to show them in there. Can you see they said here you must show everything in there? They say general.
Yes, sir.
Can you see it? So meaning this 90,000 must be shown. But if you understand the account equation like this or a general ledger like this, already you know. Can you see this account is debit here and here is credit? So if you can check in the plant and machinery, we debited 90. So if you go to the general journal, so you must debit plant and machinery. Obviously, if you open creditors under the creditors journal, under the creditors control, under which side are you going to put this 90?
Credit.
On the credit side. So it means you debit machinery and you credit creditors or max.
Yes.
Let's go and check the general journal. Can you see this? Can you see this?
I can see it, yes, sir.
Can you see?
Yes, I can see it.
Can you see it's the same thing? So here they want the general journal. So that's why they debited plant and equipment. They created maxi.
Oh.
Remember here you can say or creditors control.
Okay, I see.
Can you see now? It's not that difficult.
So they just put the name.
They put it. Yes.
Okay.
It's the same
But both
thing.
are right. Whichever one you put.
Both are right. Yes.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. This is what we. That's why I say next time when they ask you the general ledger, it's the same thing. Just that the layers are different. Here the debit is like on the left and the credit here, but here they put debits like. Can you see this is there? Just a different format. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, that makes sense.
So this is no problem. So remember this, we call this narrations. Remember? You still remember this?
Yes, from last semester.
Yeah, so you must always put narrations, unless if they say ignore them. But if they don't say ignore them, always put narrations because they mark this is a mark, full mark. So you must make sure that you say something, as long as it doesn't mean that you're going to have the same statement. Some of you can phrase it differently, but something must be there that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Are you good?
Okay.
Yes. So meaning this one we target, and then here it means we have dealt with 90. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now, in the process of buying this machine for 90, we traded in. remember, trade-in is like we got rid of one of the assets. Remember, there are different ways of getting rid of an asset, but in this case, we traded in. We must also show the process of trading in. We must show that one of the machine has been taken out, because if I take out this machine, it means at the end of the day, the machine cost won't be 85,000 anymore. It's going to be less. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I must also show the entries of getting rid of that particular machine.
Okay, you have to show
now
it.
we talk. Yes, that's why they asked you for something called realization.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes this is called, some books call this asset disposal.
Okay, let me write that down.
Yes. So it means when you see realization account, just know that that is the disposal account. It's the account that is going to show the process for selling that asset, for getting rid of that asset. We are disposing that asset. So they will always ask you for this account. And at the same time, you must also know how to put the information in the general journal. But it's okay, I'm going to show you how to do that step by step.
Okay.
Are you with
So
me?
machinery realization account and asset disposal account, same thing.
Same thing. I'm just saying, maybe sometimes you want to use different books and then you see something called asset disposal. Hey, don't worry, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, firstly, these steps are very much important for disposing.
So can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, no, it broke up there for a little bit.
No problem.
Okay.
So when you're dealing with the realization or disposal, you must follow these steps. Firstly, you need to record the cost price of the asset sold. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
These are the steps of realization, step of asset disposal. You follow them. Firstly, you need to go and check the cost of the asset that you are going to that you are selling. Why must you know that cost? Because you are going to take it out of your books because you are selling it. Are you with
Yes.
me?
Oh, yes. Okay. Because you're getting rid of it.
Yeah. Okay. Be careful, I said.
Selling it.
Cost price. Be
Oh, the
careful.
cost price. Yes.
So if I may ask you, what is the cost price? Yes. What is the cost price of the asset that I traded in? The cost price.
85,000. Oh, wait. No. 90,000.
Not 85. No, 90,000 is the one that I bought. I'm thinking about that. Remember, here it's all about disposing. I'm only focusing on the one that I'm selling.
Oh, okay. So then it would be 42,500, I think.
I like that. My brother there, do you also understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you must always try to find out the cost of the asset sold. Because, okay, if let's say, for example, you sold all the assets, I will agree with you if you say 85,000, if you sold all the assets, but you didn't sell all of them, you only sold one. That's why they have to give us this information. So we only sold one. Check here, one of the Zobo. We know that each one is 45. So the cost of the one that we sold, so the cost here in this case is going to be how much?
42,500.
42,500. So that's the one that we must take. Yes.
I see.
We must take it out of what? Of the books.
Yes.
So I know they didn't ask us for this because we are selling that machinery. So we need to go and show that we are going to take it out. Are we going to put it on the debit here if they ask us, or must we put it on the credit there?
Credit.
On the credit. Because you are selling it. You can't come here because if you come here, you're going to increase. So you were supposed to say, and then you were supposed to say because we are selling it, you say machinery Can you see now?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Machinery. Okay.
Yes. And for this process, we always use general journal. And then you put how much? 42,500. So I want you to remember this step. This is very much important. Most students make a mistake when it comes to this one. Can you see now? You say machine realization. That's why this is the account that, can you see machine realization that I'm talking about? You only say machine realization because you are dealing with the asset that you are getting rid of. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So if you are disposing an asset, the first thing all the time is to check the cost and take it out. So if they asked you for this account, plant and machinery, you were supposed to show that you took it out. Remember here, the asset is decreasing from our past experience, and the asset is increasing.
Yes. Okay.
Can you see it makes sense? Because
Yes,
the
okay.
balance was 85. Now you took out 42,500. Can you see the old balance? Now I'm left with something less. By the time when I balance, this will be deducted.
It'll be less.
Please talk to me. Yes, talk to me if you're lost, so that I can explain.
So that is depreciation. It'll obviously decrease.
Yeah, depreciation will also decrease, but I'm still coming to depreciation. But for now, remember we're dealing with the cost.
Yes, with the cost. Yes.
The depreciation will come thereafter.
Okay.
Yes. Are you okay with the cost?
Yes, that makes sense.
Yes,
The cost.
So meaning, if I can go to the machine realization, under which side must I go and put this 42,500?
So we put it on the credit.
We put it on the
Credit.
Remember, machinery here you put under machinery, you put under what?
Credit.
So if you open
automatically it'll go on the debit.
Yes, remember the double entry system.
Yes.
If the amount here is credit, when you go and open the other account, it must be on the debit.
On the debit, yes.
Let's go and check. I think there's a realization account that they asked for. This is the one. Can you see here? Can you see?
So,
yes, check here.
The machine realization, what does it mean? Like what information does it give us?
So machine realization, in other words, we call it the asset that we disposed. Is the account that we're gonna use and check when we sell the asset. Did we make profit or loss or not?
Oh, okay. I see.
So realization, I know this term is confusing. Just call it disposal. I don't know if disposal makes sense or not.
A bit more sense, yes.
Yes, or maybe getting rid of. But the realization, you can either sell, as long as you sell an asset, as long as the asset is taken out of the books. In other words, you are disposing it. You either sell it, you donate it, you take it as your own. The fact is you disposed it. So realization is an account that is going to be used to show the transactions of selling the asset.
Okay, yeah, you can't just leave it. It has to be shown somewhere.
Yeah, it's just been shown because we need to check whether we made profit or loss at the end of the day.
Okay, that makes much more sense.
Yes. So that's why here I had to say asset realization because of what? Because I traded in. In other words, I disposed. To trade in is to we disposed, we got rid of it. So account there must always be, even though they didn't ask us for asset realization, but I must know that as long as I'm dealing with that asset, I must show that cost in the realization. I must just know. That's why I call this realization steps. In other words, these steps are the steps for these accounts at all times.
Okay, I see, sir.
Yes. So that is the first thing, the first step. And again, if they ask you to put it in the general journal, so you just have to do the same thing. Here, plant has been credited, machine realization has been debited. So you can check here. I think you can see it here. Where is it? Here, check. Can you see here? This one.
Yes.
Can you see machine realization has been debited, plant and cost has been credited? This one.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
That is one. So for me, these accounts help me a lot, this one. Because I think most people understand general ledger better as compared to general journal.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So please talk to me. I don't want to lose you because one step we fall. If we fall with one step, it's going to affect all the steps. So I want you to understand my first step. It will never change as long as you are getting rid of what? Of an asset.
No, so it makes sense.
So far, so good. Okay.
Yeah, so far so good.
So far, so good. Okay. And then secondly, this is the step. There's no particular order. Secondly, I'm gonna go and check step. I'm gonna put it at step number 2. Step number 2, I'm gonna check the accumulated depreciation of the asset sold. Remember, in this case, I know I didn't sell. I traded in, but it's the same thing. It's like I sold. That's why I just used the word sold, because in most cases we sell. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that is the second step, and you need to make it practical. Why do I say you must make it practical? Because obviously, if I sell an asset, let me ask you a question. Is it possible for me to sell my asset to you and I will end up keeping the depreciation of the asset? Is it possible?
No, sir, because the
No,
depreciation will
sir.
go with the
Yeah.
assets.
So
Yes.
again, I must show that that accumulated is not in my books anymore. That's why I must also get rid of that accumulated. That's why my step 2 is to focus on the accumulated of the asset that I sold from number 1 here.
Yes. Because you can't keep the depreciation of the asset.
Yes. So I must make sure that I calculate that depreciation. Remember, as long as I'm still following the steps, one account will always be there. The machine realization will always be there. You must always worry about the other account. Like, for example, from step 1, one account, realization, in the other account. The other account was what? The asset that I sold. That's why I said machinery. Even here, if I ask you the 2 accounts, give me the 2 accounts for step number 2. Just to, no pressure though, but just try to give me the 2 accounts for number 2. Step number 2.
So it would be Mr. Plant and Equipment, like the machinery account.
No, machinery account. No. Remember, I can only say machinery account because I'm selling it. So I said machinery account on the step number 1. But here
Okay.
I'm not talking about the cost. I'm talking about what?
The depreciation.
Accumulated. So meaning one account is the accumulated depreciation on machinery.
Yes.
And the other one will be?
Okay.
What did I say will be the obvious account? One account will always be here. Machine realization.
Okay.
Don't worry, you're gonna get used to it. So all these steps I'm telling you, one account, just know that one account in advance. Don't stress in the exam. One account must be realization. Worry about the other account. So let's say I was in step number 1. I'll say, okay, already I know one account is realization. But what is the other account? I said I'm dealing with the cost price, meaning the cost price of what? Of machinery. That's why the other account was machinery. The same thing happens to step number 2. Obvious account, realization. What is the other account? Okay, I'm dealing with what? Accumulated depreciation. So the other account will be accumulated depreciation on machinery. I don't know if it makes sense or not.
It does make sense that you explained it, sir.
Yes. Don't I remember it's a process, né? It's a process.
Yes.
And I know I've been there before. That's why I repeat myself. I've been there because I'm telling you, most people are afraid of this section. Just go and ask others or your friends and say, most of them know this as asset disposal and say, do you know asset disposal? Hey! They will think that
they all struggle, sir.
Yeah. So I think luckily they did ask us to open what? Accumulated what? Depreciation. I think here I did open it, ne? I put the balance there. Okay, let's see if they put the balance there. Yes, I think can you see I put that balance here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, but again, they gave us the accumulated depreciation. Yeah, but I'll come back to it. But before we can go and record, we need to ask ourselves, remember, the amount that I'm going to use, I want all the depreciation of the asset that I sold up to the date of sale. When did I sell this asset?
On the oh, is this? Oh, sorry, sir. On the 31st of January 20.4.
On the 31st. Else we sold it here. Meaning, I need all depreciation up to the date I sold it. Remember,
So how would we?
here, I'll show you. Remember,
Oh,
here we bought at the same time we sold. Ne?
yes, at the same. So like the trade-in, sir.
That's true. But now I was
Okay.
focusing on this, on the one. Yeah. Okay. I always use the word trading because sold, because it's the one that sounds better. But let's say
Okay.
traded in, sold, or it's the same thing. As long as you
Like
understand.
anything,
Because
so
next
fine.
time, yes, traded in. Yes. Okay. So now we need to check. Okay. Do you agree with me if I say the asset that I'm selling is accumulated depreciation at the beginning was 23,300? Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So meaning the balance here of that asset was 23, of that accumulated was 23,300. Let me change this color. You agree with me if I say it was 23,300?
Yes, sir.
If we
This
sold
was
the
at
asset,
the beginning of the financial year.
yes. If the question, the transition here said 1st of September 2023 like that, this was the amount that I was supposed to use on this. Can you see now?
Yes.
But I can't use this amount only because this asset also was sold somewhere here. Can you see now was sold here?
Yes,
So I
yes.
must first calculate depreciation for this period so that I can come and add it to this one. I don't know if it makes sense.
It does, it does. Now that you drew the line, so it makes sense.
Yes, because the rule is calculate or use depreciation up to the date of sale. So this 23,300 is incomplete. I must still calculate depreciation for this period, add it to that so that I can know the total depreciation on the date of trade-in. Are you with me?
Makes sense, sir.
Now it means I need to depreciate the asset. Remember, depreciation, what is the cost of the asset that I'm depreciating?
So I think it was the 42,000 or
Yeah,
42,500.
42,500. You see, I'm depreciating this asset because I must check. Okay, remember I'm using diminishing balance method. I don't know if you have used this method before. Have you ever heard about it before?
No, sir, I didn't. Haven't.
This means, no problem. Diminishing means before you can depreciate, you must first minus the previous accumulated depreciation. Can you see now? That is the rule.
Yes, sir.
So you must first minus the accumulated depreciation that you have so far. And then how much is the percentage for the depreciation? Times 20 what? Percent. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
But we need to count from here. Remember, the period here is important. From the 1st of September to 31st of January. Let's count. September, October, November, December, January. Please help me. I found 5 months. I don't know if you found 5 months or not. Double check for me. I'm going to say times 5
Yes.
divided by 12 because I found 12. I don't know you found 5 months like me from here.
Yes, I counted 5 as well.
5.
December.
Yes. So please use the calculator and tell me how much is the depreciation for this period only.
So I got 1,600.
1,600. So this 1,600 is the depreciation for only for this, is the one that I'm gonna come and add here so that I can know my total accumulated depreciation for the asset that I'm selling. Let me pause so that you can ask a question.
No, so it makes sense. So then
It
the
makes sense.
total depreciation will be 21,700. 21,700.
Yes, that is the one that I'm gonna use here. 20, you said 20?
21,700.
Why 21,000?
So,
Not
because I said,
24. Okay, 23,
oh, I
300.
minus, let me add
Don't
it.
minus it. You add
So 24,900.
24,900. So this is the accumulated that I'm gonna use on step number 2, because I need everything for that particular asset that I traded in. Everything. If this asset was bought 70 years ago, I was supposed to know how much was the value from 70, let's say from that long time ago until now. I want everything.
Yes, sir.
That's why I said if we sold this asset on the 1st of September, there was no need for us to have this 1.6 because we sold it here. It was not there. And you see now, we're supposed to use only 23,300 here. Are you with me?
Yes, sir. Only if we
So you
sold
must
on the first.
Yes, we
Okay.
need everything up to, yes, I agree with you. So this is the amount that I'm gonna record in those two accounts. Remember we said, okay, remind me for step number 2, we said, what are those two accounts for step number 2?
Machinery realization and then accumulated depreciation.
Perfect. Now these are the two accounts that you can see here, the ones that they said we must open them. When you make a decision, please don't look at realization, because realization doesn't make sense that much. So look at the other account, accumulated depreciation. What did they say is accumulated depreciation? Did they say it's an asset, or what did they say?
So,
How can you classify accumulated? I remember I did open it here. How can you classify accumulated depreciation? I said it's what? It's a negative asset.
oh yes.
Remember?
Yes,
I said obviously it increase where? Credit. It decrease
Credit.
where?
Oh, on the debit.
Yes, that's how it is. It's the opposite of an asset.
Yes, sir.
But let me ask you a question. Will this 24,900 increase the accumulated depreciation that I have so far, or decrease it?
It would increase it, sir. No, decrease.
It will? It will decrease. Remember, I'm selling this asset, so it means I'm taking out the accumulated for the asset that I'm selling. So if I can put it here, it will mean that I'm increasing. So because I'm getting rid of it, I must also decrease. So I must come here, for example, and say 20 point, is it 20.4 Jan 31st? And then what is the other account that I said I must record into?
accumulated depreciation.
Remember, this is accumulated depreciation account, so I cannot write accumulated here. I must write the other account.
Oh, machinery realization.
Thank you. Machine realization. I know in this they don't want you to use, but if they ask you for generals, you always use general. Don't worry. And then I will write 24,900. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So if I say go to machine realization account, under which side are you gonna put 24,900?
Debit. No, credit.
Debit. Credit, because here is from the
Debit.
debit.
So it will be on credit.
So can you see now? Let's see whatever we have done here is shown there, because we do have the solution there. Let's see here. Let's say accumulated here. Can you see here? Can you see 24,900 machine?
Yes, sir.
Can you see now? So if you go to machine realization, under which side? Check here. You say what? Can you see? on the credit side, and you write what? Does this make
Yes.
sense?
A little bit, sir.
I know it's not easy. It's not easy, guys.
But I'll go over the notes, so no problem.
Yeah, that's why. Can you see? That's why I say, because you are seeing this for the first time. So just know that, can you see now? As long as you can understand this, it's going to be very, very easy. So we've got step number 1, step number 2. So even if you can go to the general journal, it's the same thing here. You can check. It's the same thing here. Check. This is the one that we just did. Is this one? Can you see this one? It's whatever you did in the accounts. You debited, accumulated. If you can go to the accumulated, you debited, yes, and you credited machine realization. That's the same thing. That's here.
Oh, it's the same, yeah.
But I don't want you to memorize. I want you to understand why. That's why here I said accumulated. These arrows will help you, because if you can put it there, it means you're increasing. No. You must put it there to show that you are getting rid of it. It must go down. It's like here, under machinery here, it must go down, because you are realizing it, you are disposing it, you are getting rid of it, you are taking it out of the business, so it must go down. Are you still there?
Still here, yes.
Yes. Are you okay?
Yes, sir.
So
Now remember,
mine is breaking up.
Okay. You need to be careful. Here we were dealing with the cost price. Be careful, because the prices are important. Otherwise, you're gonna use wrong prices. Here I was using accumulated depreciation. Now I'm focusing on what? Selling
Selling price.
or the value. There's a difference between the cost price and the selling price. I think you understand that. There's a difference.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now we focus on the selling price. But here, because we did not sell, we traded in. Instead of saying selling price, we're going to say value. Do you understand what I mean? Is the trade in value.
Yes, sir.
What is the value of the machine that we traded in?
42,500.
The value, not the cost price. Can you see what you are repeating? The cost price. We're not dealing with the cost price.
What would the value be? I think it was 85. No.
The one that we sold only, that one machine that we sold, there was the value of that machine that we traded in. Can you see what I like about this exercise? It's a little bit tricky because they didn't give you the selling price. Next time, you'll find an exercise whereby they say the selling price is this. The value of the machine that we trade in. Don't you remember this amount?
Which amount, sir? The 19,000.
Yes.
Oh.
That's the value of the asset sold. This one, this value. There's a difference. The cost price of that machine was 42,500, but the value was 19,500. You know, there's a difference between the value and the cost. Like if you bought your car for 500,000 5 years ago, do you think that the value is 500,000 now?
No, sir.
No, it's not. It's going to be less. Maybe it's going to be 200,000. The same applies here. The machine was bought for 42,500, but now the value is what? Is 19,500. and I know we were not given this 19,500. So we had to calculate it with the given information. So they try to trick us. But don't worry, some exercises will be given. This 19.5 will be given to you. So we are dealing with 19,500. Please talk to me if it doesn't make sense.
So it makes sense. Because it won't be the same price that, I mean, it won't be 42,500.
Yeah, no, that is the cost. Remember the 42,000. That's why I say we need to be careful. The first step is cost, is where we deal with the 42,000. Yes. So here we dealt with 42,000.
Yes.
Here is where we dealt with 42,500.
Yeah, it won't be worth that same price in a few months' time.
That's true. So that's why I want you to pay attention and check whether you are dealing with the selling price or the cost price, so that you can use the correct amounts. Yes. Because if you can use 42,500 here, it's wrong, because that is not the selling price, unless the question says the asset was sold at the same as the cost price, of which is very rare.
Yeah,
but you know, people can. If you know, let's say if you don't know anything about, let's say you want to buy a car and you don't know anything about cars, people will sell you a car which was supposed to be 20,000, they say 200,000. You know, people are very that's why sometimes you need to check people who know more about cars and say, okay, I'm gonna buy a car, advise me. You know, people then just So we're on step number 3. So now we traded in. Okay, before we can look at the accounts for number 3, I think you know one account already for number 3, for step number 3. Give me that one account already that you must know.
The machinery realization.
Perfect. I like that. We have machine realization, but we must worry about the other account now. The other account, we sold machine, how? We traded in. Write this thing down for future. If you trade in, the account will always be creditor's control. Did you get that?
Yes, I'm just writing it down.
Yes. Remember, if you don't want to say creditor's control, you can also write that name of the creditor, but I prefer writing creditor's control and in brackets that name of the creditor. Are you with me?
Yes.
But remember, sometimes we don't always trade in. Sometimes they're gonna say you sold it for cash. That must be obvious. What would be the account?
Bank.
Sorry, sir?
If you disposed for cash, what would be the account?
Yes. Bank.
What would be that account? Bank. Write it down. So you sold for cash, bank. Let me know if you got it.
Yes, sir. I wrote it down.
You sold on credit. What would be that? Because they will say sell on credit next time. What are you going to write? What would be the account?
Control.
The other one? Not creditors, the other one?
Debtors.
Debtors control, write it down. When you sold on credit, debtors control. Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
The other one, sometimes you take over as your own. What would be that? You take it from the business as your own. What would be the account? If they say that asset was, you are taking it over as your own asset. You take it from the business, now it becomes your own. What would be the account? Drawings, write it down. Taken by the owner will be drawings. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
The last one, it can be donated. Obviously, what will be the account? Donated. The account will be
Donations, sir.
donations. Did you get that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, I swear, I'm telling you, in the exam, be prepared for those possible things that I gave you. No other thing, I'm telling you. So just check the term and decide on the account.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So give me the 2 accounts for step number 3 quickly.
Machinery
Credit
realization.
machine realization, and then
And
credit risk control.
perfect, because it has been traded in.
Yes.
But I trust you guys, you're gonna remember that.
Yes, I wrote it down, so I'll go through it.
Perfect. So now, if they asked you for creditors, I know they didn't ask us for creditors, but you and I will do everything for the future, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the creditor, let's say they asked you, it's like someone who is selling an insurance policy to you. They say, what if you die? You will end up buying that, I'm telling you, policy. So let's say, what if they asked you for the creditors control? Obviously, for creditors control, we're supposed to have, I think, because already everything was, how much was that asset up there? 90. So we're supposed to have machinery here first. $90 because we bought on credit. Remember, we bought on credit before. Are you still with me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So it will be something like this. Remember, if they asked you, remember, it's when we bought that machine. Remember, I even had something there. Can you see here? This creators control. Remember this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When I got the creators, I will put it here if they asked me. But now, if you trade, remember we bought this machine for 90,000. Remember, creators increase on the credit and decrease on the debit. So if you traded in that asset of yours, are you going to increase creators control or decrease it?
Decrease, sir.
Under which side?
Debit.
So it means that machine realization will come here. How much was the value of the asset? Can you see if they asked you? I don't know if it makes sense.
It does, sir.
Because obviously it must reduce the amount that you put. Remember, if you balance this account, this now you owe them less now. Because you're going to say 90,000 minus 19,500. So the balance is the one that you're going to owe to them because you traded in this. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
If I say go to machine realization, under which side are you going to put this 19,500?
Credit.
Square. Machine realization. Can you see that? They wrote max. They're very lazy.
Yes, sir.
And yes, there's 90. Can you see now? The same thing.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just saying what, because if they asked you for the creators control, it will look like that. Because you'll never know, they can ask you anything. And the same applies
Yes,
here.
sir.
If you can check this 19,500 is here, check here. It's the same thing, 19,500. You debited what? Maxi Ltd. Remember, you can also, like I said, you can also say what?
Credit
Creditors.
control.
Yes, you can go and check in our books. It's what we did. And we just credited what? Machine realization. Go to the credit side, you can see it has been credited. Machine realization here is credited. Talk to me, guys, talk to me.
Yes, sir. I think I'm understanding it a little bit better now.
I know it's too much, but I know when you sit down, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
let me show you the last step.
Okay.
Step. What am I doing? Step 4. Is where we check whether we made profit or loss on sale of asset. So this is a very simple step. And I know, okay, let me ask you the obvious account. What is the obvious account here? Number 4.
Machine realization.
Machine realization. So, but normally we do this, we check profit or loss in the realization. This is the realization that you see. You just have to balance the account. Can you see now?
Yeah.
So according to the
Yeah.
realization here, the biggest side was the credit, which is 44,400, 44,500, 400, and they minused what? The debit of 42,500. And they found how much is the difference?
So where you see
1,000?
Oh, the 1,900.
1,009.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. I said this side minus 42,500. They got a difference of what? Of 1,900. And that is
Yeah.
what?
the profit that they made on
Profit.
the.
Yes. They
Okay.
can also ask you to open that profit. They can ask you for that profit. So if I say, how will I transfer to the profit? Just tell me. This profit.
So you take the 1,900
Where
and
must I
then
put it?
a debit.
Check.
Oh no, credit because it was on the debit side of that account.
Remember, double entry system, it will always
Yes.
be there. So you must say, but what must I write here before I write the amount?
The date.
The date, yes, which is 24 Jan 31st. And then what must I write now?
Machine realization.
Machine I know they didn't want journals, but I'm just showing, and I'm gonna put how much? 1 point.
9.
Can you see how easy is that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So
So
step
that's the easiest one.
step number 4 is just balancing the account.
Yeah.
You don't
That's
have
the
to.
easy step.
That's the easiest. But remember, next time this side can be bigger. Debit can be bigger, meaning this will be on the other side. Okay.
Okay.
So it will be loss on sale. It will be a loss here. If it is here, it's going to be loss on sale of machinery. I don't know if it makes sense.
It does make sense, sir.
Yes. So don't worry and say, okay, why am I finding the difference here? It's possible to make losses when you sell. So this side we call it profit, and this side we call it what? Loss. And even if they can ask you for the loss on sale of machinery, the same procedure, this machine realization was supposed to be on the opposite side, but now we have the profit. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
And here is the
Yes.
profit. And here is the profit. Any questions, guys?
Not
No.
from my side, no.
Yes.
No.
So we can stop here, or do you feel like you've got energy for 1 more hour, or can we leave it and then we can?
So we can leave it here, and then next week
And then we can do another day.
I think
we can continue with
We'll
it.
probably do 2 next week.
No problem, no problem.
Okay. Thank you for today, sir.
Thank you for taking
Thank you
time.
very much. I appreciate it, man.